Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video.
Well, welcome back to another very hot day here at Giga-Texas, and even though it's early in the morning, the temperatures are quite high. It has been a pretty warm last part of the summer here, and I'm looking forward to when the temperatures start coming down and maybe fall will start arriving in a few days. But for right now, it's quite warm out here. Now, because it's so hot out here, I don't want to spend too much time doing the intro. A couple of things I do want to talk about. First, an interesting development with Cybertrucks. Just yesterday, Tesla has raised the prices on the all-wheel drive Standard and the all-wheel drive Premium, and that means that the Standard is now coming in at $74,990, which is about $15,000 more than it was back in the end of February when they offered that special. So if you got a chance to purchase one of those back in February, great job, congratulations. Your vehicle is now worth $15,000 more than what you would be paying for it. So I don't know what the reason is for this. There's a lot of speculation on that, but just letting you know that that is what is happening. The Cyber Beast did not change its price, so it's just the Standard and the Premium all-wheel drive versions. Another thing that I want to talk about briefly is over at the test track, a lot more of the testing of the Cybercabs. In this case, they have really long lines going through stop signs and then racing around the outer track and sometimes going through the inner track. This is all very close to the Cybercab launch event, which is coming up here at Giga-Texas next Thursday, the 3rd of September. So it looks like they're doing a lot of final touches on getting the Cybercabs ready to go. Of course, the training and the testing will continue even after the launch event, but I think they're putting an all-hands effort onto making that launch as successful as possible. Now, there is a lot more to see in the video. We spend some time over at the Advanced Technology Chip Fab, a lot of time at the Optimus factory, and check in on the west side construction site. So we'll look at that in the main video, but for right now, I just want to say it's dang hot out here, and I'm glad I got my drone flight in early so that I can get back into the air conditioning. As always, thank you very much for your support. It does mean a lot to me, and I've been doing this for a long time, so you help keep me going. And as always, thank you very much for that support. So without further ado, let's get in the drone, fly around, and see what's going on here at Giga-Texas today.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. Well, good morning from the far south of Giga-Texas. We're looking towards the north at the main factory. I stopped here because I want to show you what's going on with some of the work for the plumbing and water system that they're putting in here. What we're looking at here is this large HDPE pipe that's been butt welded together, and it's quite long. It's laid out along the frontage road. This is in preparation for it to be pulled through under the Colorado River and to the other side. And most of that work is on the left-hand side of the screen. On the right-hand side of the screen is additional plumbing and pipe installation, along with some trenching to connect all of this together once it has been pulled through. There's a good view here with the trench boxes and the other preparation to pull the pipe through. It'll follow along the roadway and then to the bank on the upper left. And again, I'll show you that here in a moment, a little bit closer in. They're also doing some work on the south bank of the Colorado River. This is what it appears like today. There are some of these large pipe segments, a couple of the cranes, and some additional work that is being done in and around this part of the bank structure of the Colorado River. So pretty interesting to see how all that is coming together. As we continue to fly to the south on the east side, looking across over to the construction in the upper right, we'll go visit that here momentarily as well, but I want to show you this. There's some trench work, some conduit, and some concrete vaults that are being placed in here, plus the lighting along River Road appears to have been installed. No real change with the former lined pond. And then here at the material staging yard, a good view of some of the materials that are still wrapped in the silver, those 3 large tanks. And I'm starting to think that those are going to be installed outside of the body in white rather than inside. At the exit point for the Cybercab production line, as you can tell, there are many of the Cybercabs here today. These are all freshly built. Interestingly enough, I don't see the Starlink modification on the hatch on any of these, but some of them did have the Cybercab logos and other ones did not. So it is good to see that there is additional production going on after a few days of not really seeing a lot. But what is the actual plan? It's really hard to tell. We do know that the Cybercab launch event is coming up, so they have obviously a plan in mind, and they are fulfilling that with the production. You'll see more Cybercabs riding around on the road below the drone, and also as we continue to fly here next to the cooling tower for Cortex 1, you can see how that appears. It looks like 5 of the 6 fans working today. It's been a while since I've been on this side of the factory, so I'm going to go over the power lines, bring the drone down. We'll fly along this south end. Looks like they painted a red stripe on the right curb next to the glass. Of course, we're flying over the cyber pond and coming up on the fork in the road statue, which has been here for about a year or so, and it signifies that fork in the road to choose AI. And of course, this is a great point for it because inside this part of the factory is Cortex 1, which is responsible for the full self-driving testing and training. Here is where the pipe will be pulled through. You can see the horizontal drill. They've got some of the attachments already set up and going into that pit. They also have some additional equipment all ready to go here. So we should be seeing that pull through pretty soon. As we get to the southwest corner of the factory, just a quick view of how it appears today. Lots of vehicles, some trucks, just a lot of just general activity going on here at this end of the factory. I'm going to fly along the west side up towards the flagpoles. We'll see the flags are at half mast. That's because of Dolly Parton. She passed away yesterday, and the flags are in her honor at half staff. We do see some Cybercabs that are doing a lot of employee autonomous drive pickups around the site today. We went just over one. As I kind of look at the main entrance, you'll see another one driving away on the bottom left. And as we continue to work our way along this west side, past the exit point for the Model Ys from the production line, we will see even more of those Cybercabs. In fact, there's a group coming up here on the left. Looks like maybe a few of them are the older versions, and then one of them is the newer version, possibly being used for additional training around the local area as they continue to prepare for the Cybercabs. As I mentioned, here's another one of those drop-offs and pickups. The Cybercab executes a nice U-turn and continues on to the south to pick up more employees. So I'm going to bring the drone up. We'll get ready to go across the highway, and we'll resume on the other side. Well, there is a lot of activity here next to the direct delivery center, the end of line, and in the outbound lot. We'll start here at the mega chargers. Once again, I don't see any semis using them yet, but they are definitely ready. A lot of vehicles ready for the direct delivery. They moved the Cybercab away from underneath the Tesla letters, but later on in the day, I noticed that they had brought it back. In the sorting lanes, we see many of the Model Ys and a lot of Cybertrucks starting to arrive here at the early hour on this morning. And this is pretty much where they drive autonomously over, get checked in, and then they're brought inside the end of line for additional processing. There are some more Model Ys and a few Cybertrucks that are on this south part of the sorting line, and of course, many more Cybercabs. Also, underneath the supercharger tents, Cybertrucks and Model Ys all getting charged up as they get ready for their shipping options. Now, we do see another large group of Cybertrucks coming right underneath the drone. This is one of many locations for Cybertrucks today, and I've also seen some coming out of the Cybertunnel in the upper left of the screen. As I kind of swing the drone around, also we can see more of the overflow Model Ys on the bottom left of the screen. The Cybercabs that are being collected here, some of them are older and have dust on them, so they haven't moved a whole lot. And we'll come back and look at the outbound lot for a few more of the vehicles. I wanted to stop there and proceed over towards the test track because there is a lot of very interesting activity and changes that are going on today. As we go over the power lines and come down on this parking lot for all of the transport vehicles, you can see on the track that there are many Cybercabs in operation. In fact, so many that at the operations center, there's almost no Cybercabs, just a few. They have a lot of these cones out. I think this is where they kind of bring the vehicles, prep them, and then go out onto the track. Of course, the superchargers are in place, but still not connected. As we focus over onto the track, we're going to see a lot of this driving around the larger oval. For right now, the vehicles are going around this corner, heading over towards the west side. So I'm going to let them go over there, and we'll first look at this infield straightaway. I wanted to show you that they are finishing up this last section that are sort of like cobblestones. This is multi type of asphalt that they're putting here, different kinds of surfaces, and this is used for noise, vibration, harshness testing. And we also see around the inner oval some more of the cones, and then coming over to the other straightaway where some of the fences have been moved away on the far side. I'll follow along on the larger oval again, where we see the vehicles heading towards us, and also maybe a stop and go test. We're going to see that in the top of the screen, there is a stop sign, and the Cybercabs are arriving and stopping and then going in sequence. It's almost like it's being spaced out exactly. So these may be autonomously driven, but it has a really nice cadence to it, and it gives for a nice spacing of the vehicles when they get onto the rest of the oval. But clearly this is some sort of stop, go, maybe traffic testing that they are doing right now, and validating how the software works, and collecting a lot of data with many different Cybercabs. As you can tell, there are a lot that are out here on the track. Of course, the line is all around this curve, and proceeding over here onto the west side, where even more of the Cybercabs in different groups are arriving to get into that line. As I keep following the track around, what we're going to see is more of the Cybercabs stopping at a stoplight, and you can see how that's all set up. And then they are proceeding when that stoplight changes. So clearly they are testing specific parts of the driving environment for the Cybercabs on the track today. So I'm going to bring the drone up to a much higher altitude, give you this bird's eye view of the entire track, not only what's going on with the Cybercabs, but the rest of the construction on that inner smaller oval. Of course, that large rectangular section is another area that needs more work. So hopefully we'll see that very soon. Now I'm going to bring the drone back. We're going to cross over the power lines, and we'll take a look at just a few parts of this material staging yard, and some of the materials that have been unpacked, and much of the packaging is at the bottom of the screen. They have all these bins here that collects all of that and then is taken off site. See more materials stored over by the supercharger workshop, more containers, some deliveries, and of course near where the transformers are, We see some more of these containers. It looks like there may be some sort of a delivery going on as well, but it's hard to tell for sure what exactly that was. I mentioned I'm going to come back to the outbound lot, give you a sense of more of the production and the activity. What I want you to notice is the number of vehicles, including Cybertrucks and all variants of the Model Ys grouped together, and occasionally you'll see a Cybercab within these groups. This is all being prepared for transport. In fact, you can see one going on right now with many Cybertrucks. While I was flying, I saw a lot of the transport trucks leaving the site with Cybercabs and Cybertrucks on them. Here is a small gathering of newly built Cybercabs, some more Cybertrucks, and of course more of the Model Ys at the upper right of the screen. As I get over next to the west side of the end of line, another group of Cybercabs just parked here next to where we are also seeing the direct delivery vehicles. And as I get closer to the north end of line, I decided I want to come back over to this lot and show you even more vehicles that are prepped for direct delivery. You can see those red, white, and a lot more of the Cybertrucks, along with more of the different colors of Model Y. So it does still look like a lot of deliveries are happening and production is moving along fairly quickly with a high rate of transport off-site. As we get to the north, I'll fly over this staging yard and this central road just to get a quick look at what's going on with the workshops, some of the materials that are stored here, along with some more of the transformers. And it looks like some additional equipment has been brought in, possibly more transformers. Some of the steel items and some geotextile membrane in the rolls at the bottom of the screen. And of course, this large graded section that they are continuing to do a lot of work with, trying to get that graded out for some sort of construction. What's interesting is they're still working on that pond in the upper left. It's got a lot of algae and some shrubbery in it, but I don't see them removing it quite yet. So I'm curious why and what they're going to be doing with it. As I pull away to the northeast, nice overall shot of how this section is coming together. You can tell that there is kind of a graded berm between the fence and the larger graded section. So still a bit of a mystery and worth watching. So I'm going to get ready to cross over the highway and we'll resume on the other side. And when we do have the resumption here, I'm going to show you some of the transport trucks. They load up over in the outbound lot. They come here for sequencing, and then they head up to the Taylor railhead, that rail yard where the vehicles are loaded up onto trains and shipped off site that way. As we cross over Tesla Road, pass over the cyber berms, going to get back closer into the north end of the factory, and also some landscaping and cleanup work that was underway. And also, as we get to the north end of the 4680s, I'll zoom in, just show you a brief view of the activity. They're doing some excavation work next to those temporary wall kind of doors. And of course, those large pipes are still there, some spools of cabling, some other equipment. Not a lot to show at the plastics machinery or plastic manufacturing section today, but what I did notice is these Cybertrucks pulling the carts. This is what they use to pick up usually the racks full of the castings and then take them in for production. As you can tell, there are a lot of filled racks. All of these have Cybertruck front and rear castings. Some of them are untrimmed, so these are fairly fresh out of the casting machine. And once they get that other machinery done, then they can go in for production. Good view of that new tent-like structure on the right. More of the Cybertruck front and rear castings in these racks. And these look like they may have already been trimmed. So those may be getting ready to go to production. And a nice view of the melt center. So I'll bring the drone up. We'll cross over the power lines once again, bring it back down, and we'll take a more detailed view of what is going on here. We'll start with a view into the melt center, where both of the loading systems appear to be somewhat operational. They're loading up one right now with some of the aluminum for melting. And then here is a good view of Cybercab castings. We have the rear subframe on the right, the upper frame, and in some locations we are seeing some of the front castings as well. Coming into view now on the left of the screen is Model Y castings. And they have plenty of these because production is definitely moving along very quickly for the Model Ys. Now, I wanted to also show you the update with what's going on here at the reconfiguration part of the exterior walls of the factory. No real change with the red and white squares on the right, and some of the work on the apron, but here we see new wall panels are already being put into place right over by where the stairs are. And this will most likely continue to fill out this entire area as they've removed the glass and now are just making it into a closed structure. There's another wall panel on the ground, and there's a few more that are stored on the south side of the multi-level parking garage waiting for their turn to be brought in here. At the sorting lot, only one older Cybercab remains. No real activity at the wind tunnel or the helicopter pad, and a slightly different view than I can show you normally of this staging yard with more trench work at the bottom of the screen, this new structure that's getting watered down around the dirt on its base, and then more of the materials. As we cross over Robotic Avenue, you can see the conduit and the concrete boxes on the right, bringing power to this new location. They are still in the process of doing a setup work, some forms on the ground, and some additional equipment. This is to have another batch plant for concrete on the site. As we get to the pond, zoom in, you can see that outfall channel, and there's like two different levels. They have the smaller holes for regular water level maintenance, and then they have the higher ones for overflow. The liner is now getting some dirt put on top of it, and there's two layers that have now reached more than halfway across the pond. So very interesting development. We'll see how this continues to change and when they are getting ready to put water in it. Good view of the recycle center and all of the workshops at the bottom of the screen, some more of the materials, and it does look like it's thinning out a lot to me. And we also see less of the materials being stored here, especially on the right-hand side of the screen. As we fly over some of the steel items in this fenced-off section, we'll get to the main foundation where we see activity across the entire length. On the south end where we are, there's some trenching and also some geopiers and concrete pump trucks and work to get the reinforced piers. We see some more of the vertical frames and preparation for concrete on this east side of the building, and a good close-in view of how this looks and how they continue to build more of those forms for the vertical structures along this side of the factory. In fact, there's some footings getting poured right now at the bottom of the screen. As we move to the interior, this long central almost like footing with the pedestals continues to be developed along with some more trench work, and we see the reinforced footings with kind of those C-like structures now on the west side of the perimeter grade beam part of the building. As I continue to pull away, we see more trench work in preparation to build another one of those kind of C-shaped foundations, and then graded section where we'll see even more. And here's a nicer view of the trench work that is underway to define those kind of foundation shapes. And on the north end, we see some more equipment being stored, some additional work at the perimeter grade beam on the left, and just generally some other items, including some steel that's being delivered most likely for the Optimus factory on the right-hand side of the screen. As I pull away at the rebar assembly section, see a lot more rebar at the bottom of the screen. Many of the sections have been made, and they continue to make these just about in time to be used in the main foundation. We now know what this lined kind of pond-like area is. It's a washout rack for the concrete trucks. Plus, we see the new trailers that were being delivered on my previous video now being set up on this side of the site. More of the pipes, that pavilion, and some additional equipment on the bottom left. And I'll bring the drone up for a nice overall view of this entire East Support facility and the Advanced Technology Chip Fab with the main factory in the background. So for now, I'm going to bring the drone around and look at the battery cathode plant and the crash test facility. We'll fly along here to the north along this side of the building. And we'll notice that the pond cover is on at the south end of the crash test facility. Many vehicles along the fence line. And then here, I'll zoom in. Looks like materials are being delivered, some equipment as well, onto the top of this temporary platform and then moved inside. The workshops still have the plastic wrap on them. I'm not sure exactly what they're using them for. A nice zoomed in view of some of the crash tested vehicles and other vehicles here in the crash test facility. Passing the Wade pit, some additional items have been brought in and stored. And of course, here at the cell test lab, some more of those mega packs waiting for installation. This large mound of dirt, I've had some viewers say that maybe what this is for is to compact the soil. They use the weight of the dirt to prepare that soil and strengthen it out, to maybe even get rid of some of the water table before there's more construction. So I don't know if that's the case, but it is an interesting idea. As we get to the north end of the battery cathode plant, you can get a good view of the workshop at the bottom of the screen with some of the debris on the east side of that workshop, and just more of the trailers on the north part of the battery cathode plant. As we fly along at the parapet wall of the battery cathode plant, we can see the chiller system, the die shop, some materials for interior of the die shop, and then here at part one of the cooling system, some of the temporary coolers, the work shop and tool cases on the bottom of the left of the screen, and of course the 30 mega packs along with the electrical equipment for both the part one and part two of the cooling system. As we fly over the workshops, a nice view here of what it looks like today. Of course, the foundation, the work, and all of the pipes being put in on this major construction site. They're making a lot of progress working towards the north. The two pedestal bases for the tanks are definitely coming along now, plus some of the buried piping that will allow it to connect into that new construction site. As we fly over the tree line, we're looking to the north at the North Campus, the Optimus factory. Of course, the more of the dirt on the bottom left of the screen where they need to do some additional reclamation work to finish that off. And there's a lot more details we'll take a look at around the Optimus factory momentarily. I just wanted to quickly look at these workshops, some of the materials, and what this looks like today. Near the tree line, looks like there's more excavation work, so I'll have to look at that on my next video. In Lone Tree Field, a good view up to the north where that pipe manufacturing plant is located. A lot of those steel corrugated pipes have been manufactured. In fact, they're starting to do some installation, which we'll see here momentarily. The Northeast Trailer Complex is very busy. These are offices for the construction companies, and they're nicely located near the main construction. As we pass over this dirt section, we'll zoom in and look at the south end of the foundation where we see geopiers on the left at work. In the middle, we see rebar cages and footings being constructed. Also, this large kind of gray area getting additional gravel put on top of the foundations. And on the left-hand side of the screen, just going out of view, is where I've had some viewers that think that that may be where some casting machines are installed. I don't know, but we'll have to watch that. Of course, many items of steel on the south end with cranes busy picking it up and installing onto the structure. And then closer to the middle and bottom of the screen are these truss beams that are used for open sections of the building. They're also working excavation on what will be the perimeter grade beam. More of these truss beams on the bottom of the screen. And since they're on this side of the site, it makes me think it's going to be spanning this part of the facility. Not sure, but we will watch that. But more are being delivered right now, as you can tell. As we continue to fly to the north along this east side, pass over some of the workshops, some of the containers, and we'll look at the materials that are on the ground waiting to be installed. We can now see that we're about 7 or 8 column grid lines from the perimeter grade beam on the north. As I zoom in, a good look at the work that is underway and how the structure is coming together. As we've talked before, they are not finishing off the east side yet. They'll finish that after their work is done on the north side, and then they'll be able to bring the cranes through. And keep the zoom in just for a little bit longer, a good view of the materials, all the cranes that are in operation, and more of the materials that are being delivered and stored now just to the north of that perimeter grade beam. We do see this workshop, some more of the cleared area, and a container with some additional equipment here. As we fly back over this part of the site, you can start getting an idea how much farther to the north from the perimeter grade beam things are becoming as the building gets longer. As we also get to the west side, materials, it looks like decking on the bottom of the screen. This is what the structure looks like. There's still this one open section on the left. The other one has been filled in, and I thought I would pull away so we can get an overall view of this side of the building and also the earthwork that is being done at the bottom of the screen. And I think that what this is all for is for that water management system with those large steel corrugated pipes that are being manufactured. And the reason why I think that is that we're going to see some of the installation beginning here momentarily. But I'll also just concentrate here at the steel structure. You can see how many different column grids lines have been built out in a staggered formation, more of the materials. And of course here, as I mentioned, some of the steel corrugated pipe that's being manufactured nearby has been brought over here next to this excavation where there are these large trench boxes being put in. So this suggests that all along this side of the site is where we're going to see these underground water pipes installed that will go around the entire building and help with the drainage. We also will see here in a moment where I think it's all going to be draining into, and it's the reason why they left one of the ponds unchanged. A nice view from the south looking to the north of all the footing work, and I'll bring the drone up to a higher altitude just so that we can get this bird's eye view of the entire structure and the site. As you can see on the kind of coming into the center, that terraced section just south of the perimeter grade beam, and then this large pond. I think they're working to have the drainage pipes come out through this section and use this pond as probably the overflow, at least initially. But we'll have to see how they put this all together. So for now, I'm going to relocate over to the north part of the electrical switch yard and show you what's going on in that part of the site. The concrete bases and mounts for two of the large steel power poles have been completed here just to the north of the perimeter fence for the electrical switch yard. I'll kind of pan across over towards where the concrete batch plant is and these poles. You can see the other two mounts have been completed. So it looks like a total of 4 new poles are going to be installed to help bring in the power to this expansion of the electrical switch yard. And as I pan away, this is a good view of where we are in relation to the main factory. I'm going to come back to Cortex to just look at what is going on in preparation for the Megapacks. They're still working on this northwest corner and getting the platforms, the screw type piers, and the beams put in place for more of the Megapacks to be delivered. Of course, this large crane is ready to go. They still have at least 2 per this grouping to be installed on each one of these to finish out the entire site. So once that work continues, I'll try to do a good count. We'll know how many of the Megapacks are installed. If we fly over some of the workshops, some of the conduit, and the part 1 of the Megapack, just gives us a pretty good overall view of how this west side of Cortex is coming together. On the south end, the water detention pond still has just the riprap, little drainage, but no other changes right now. So I'll keep watching to see how this comes together. So with that, we'll bring the drone up to a much higher altitude. We'll look from the east back to the west and the main factory at many of the areas that we visited. As always, I hope that you found this helpful and informative, and thank you very much for your support. Have a great rest of the week.